Alright, I am in Las Vegas. Been going here since I was a kid. I'm going to do my run here on the Las Vegas Strip. I am going to go on the south end of the Strip. I'm going to go north end for about 2 miles. See how this goes. It's what, August 15th, I believe, 2026. There's my cue to go. I'm wearing the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. I think these things are actually pretty darn cool for shooting video and whatnot, but the problem with them is that they only shoot in the vertical rotation, so I'm gonna have to crop this. Here's the Luxor. That's the W, Mandalay Bay. That's actually where I'm staying. Out of all the, I'm just gonna say the MGM resorts. I believe, at least for me, the Mandalay is one of the best bangs for your buck as far as value to price ratio and amenities at the place. There's Excalibur. That construction is the new baseball stadium that they're building, supposedly for the former Oakland A's. Normally, when I'm running here in the summer, I'd turn right there and I'd go left and I'd run on the back side of the Luxor, and it's actually okay for providing some decent shade because the heat here in Las Vegas can get pretty intense, although I'll still take it over the humidity. That's the MGM Grand. So Las Vegas is kind of near and dear to my heart. Like I said, I've been coming here since I was a kid. And the reason for that is that my grandparents lived here, and I'd visit with my dad every year. At least every summer. And while my grandma was playing slots, and back then they were all coin based, she'd have this big old giant bucket of quarters. She would always kick me down some quarters and I'd go in the arcade and play. She'd usually give me some of her winnings. So by the end of my trip, I'd have my own little big bucket. This video might be a little choppy just because you can only record for 5 minutes on these Meta glasses. Anyway, so I'd have my bucket of quarters and I go in an arcade and play, and usually by the time of the end of my trip, I probably walked away with 30 bucks or so, running up to the New York. And I'm gonna be dodging people here. One of the reasons we don't normally run the strip is because it's just too hard. It's pretty compact when you're dealing with people in your way. So we usually just circle the Luxor because you get the shade and it's not crowded. I like the inside of New York. Not necessarily fond of the hotel, but it's nice. Live music here on the bridge. It's a favorite of my wife and I. Come watch live music. I may run back on the back side of the strip so I don't run into anybody. Anyway, I've been coming here as a kid and through my adulthood. When I was a kid, they had those little coin pushers were kind of prevalent in the casinos, and now that they don't really have machines anymore that play off of, whoop, I gotta go, freaking law. Well, anyway, they don't have those machines that run off of coins anymore, quarters specifically, so you don't see coin pushers. Anyway, I used to take these quarters that my grandmother gave me. I'd play that coin pusher machine. I actually thought it was for the kids. Didn't realize you actually had to be 21 to play those. And I think at some point I figured out that I wasn't supposed to play them. But I never really had anybody tell me that I wasn't supposed to. It was another good way of getting some quarters as a kid. So I turned 21. I'm in the Army. Wife and I, our first vacation trip. We come to Vegas shortly after. Have to wait a couple months. I turned 21 first, my wife second. That In-N-Out burger up there just opened. Haven't actually checked it out. So our birthday trip here, we stay at Sam's Town Casino, and that one's more of a, excuse me. Sam's Town is a local spot where we stayed, and the reason we stayed there is because my grandfather worked there. He did his time there and ultimately retired there. He worked the machines and made his way up to being, you know, like a shift manager and pit boss, that kind of thing. He used to have these like comp slips that they'd give out to people, and he'd give us and the family all these little comp slips for free food, and it was pretty nuts because they didn't really track it like that, like they do now. Just a little piece of paper, go into any restaurant, get basically whatever you want for food. And since he had a booklet of these comp slips, he could always give them to us in the family. So you're always eating pretty good. My family on my father's side were always big eaters. And this is actually one of the other reasons it runs so much. I'm gonna go upstairs here so I can cross over. Where am I at? 1.2 miles in. We just ran past one of the high-end malls. About to run up towards the Cosmo. Stayed here for the first time about 2 weeks ago with Danielle. Love the hotel. Well, I love the casino side of the Cosmo, and I think the hotel side is, it's nice, but I don't know. It's nice, I'll say that. I don't think it knocks your socks off or anything like that. Staff is friendly. Generally had good luck there. So I've been coming here my whole life. My wife and I actually come here a lot. We're not too far from it. One of the reasons we come is because it's close proximity. For us, it's relatively inexpensive because we get decent rates on the hotels and the membership rewards with MGM. Hotel rates aren't that horrible. The one thing that gets you nowadays is parking fees and the resort fees. Luckily, I'm able to get those comped, at least the parking fees, which is pretty wild to me. They actually charge people to park who are patronizing the establishment. But anyway. So anyway, it's close. us being in California. And it's actually a pretty nice way for us to kind of unwind, maybe have a little to drink, and not have to worry about driving it around or anything like that. And we prefer to do multiple small trips rather than, you know, one big giant expensive trip somewhere, which is probably one of the reasons that we come here so often. And we also love going to the pools. And now that we are getting older, there's Bellagio, the fountains. Pretty cool. Most of the time I'm here, I'm gambling, but I'm not like a huge gambler. Like, I don't have to do it. And I've been here for other purposes where I haven't really gambled at all. I come in I've been coming, let's say the last 10 or so years for a soccer tournament in January with all the guys I play with. We're gonna go inside Bellagio so I can cross the street, and we'll run back on the other side. Oh my gosh. Still trying to keep this run going, but it's a little tough when you got all these obstacles. You know what, I'm going to say on the same side, I'm going to go towards Caesars. I'll turn around up here somewhere. So as Danielle and I have gotten older, and now with our kids no longer in our house, retirement has been something we've been talking about more and more recently. And Las Vegas has always been a place. Oh, can't go that way. Construction everywhere, always is here in this town. Anyway, so Las Vegas has been a place we've been fond enough with that it's been a place that we've actually considered retirement. Henderson and Summerlin areas are pretty darn nice. If you're okay with the heat, you're pretty much indoors all the time here in the summer. There are a ton of people that retire here in Nevada with their nicer tax laws. Make it a good place to retire. We've had some recent revelations, and I kind of don't think we're going to wind up here, at least not in the immediate future. Omnia pool. I hope this thing is still recording. Anyway, I want to make my way back Looks like we're gonna be in a little more shade. Every year, they actually shut down the strip at night, and you can run it if you want. They have, I know, a half marathon, and I think they may actually have a full marathon course that runs on the strip. Never done the full, but Danielle and I have done the half. Oh, maybe 4 or 5 times. It's a good way to enjoy the strip while running. And they do it. They do it, and I believe the February time frame, so it's actually somewhat cold when it's happening. Oh, this is new. I cannot continue. Oh, there we go. I think I found my route. I was blocked off here. That back alley. Actually, don't remember what it's called, but that road is fun to walk down in between the link and I can't remember the other casino. What is it? Harrah's? Or it could be Flamingo. Yeah, Flamingo. And it goes far back. There's a bunch of stuff back here. I'm getting a little lucky today. It is noon in the middle of the summer, and it's only about 90 degrees. That is abnormal for sure. I'm gonna let my clock continue to run here. Definitely a traffic jam here.
You don't have to be so upset, Ray. I'm not debating you to go to the street. How you crossing the highway?
The city has actually done a pretty good job building these walkways and stuff over the roads. They have done. Oh boy, getting jammed up here. Well, I'm gonna go down escalator. But these walkways definitely make it easier to get across because the roads are so bad with travelers. These walkways, and I think that was a good addition, and they've actually basically cordoned off the walkways so that way you're not really even able to walk on the roadways, and there's a barrier for everybody. And I think they're trying to protect the tourists and obviously try to make it easier and more convenient for people getting from here to there. Although you still got to look out for cars. And the Las Vegas Strip is pretty much always somewhat busy, especially at night. Unless you're here on a weekday. I'd say even more so in the summer. Venetian. When my son turned 21, yep, we were here in Vegas. Something I wanted to do for him and my daughter. When my daughter turned 21, we were also here in Vegas, but it was a really short trip because of time constraints for her and her husband and what they were doing at the time. So it was like a super quick trip. Last time we were here with both of them, which was actually, it was about a year or so ago when my son turned 21, and we were here for his 21st. I gave them both $500 to go play, and they both walked away with some money. That was nice. I was teaching my son how to play blackjack a little bit before the trip. He already kind of figured it out. He was actually starting to count. I'm gonna go. Starting to count cards. And I think if he actually put his mind to it, spend some time practicing, he could figure that out. It's not all that tough. Got a buddy who went to a training to learn it. And I think he was doing it for a little bit. He is a much bigger gambler than me. And that buddy, I'm actually here for the weekend with him because he's getting married, and this is kind of his bachelor party. And we have been coming to Vegas since we were both capable. We come here a lot, and it was just an easy place to go where we knew everybody would probably enjoy it. Cosmo pool area is right there. Wife and I were able to enjoy the pool for 2 weekends ago. That was probably the best part of staying at the Cosmo. was being able to go to the pool right there, where you can look off at the strip. It's a pretty unique vantage point. Taco Bell Cantina. Mickey D's.
Sorry.
Sorry, but not sorry. No worries. Traffic jam again here. This area is now just a blank parking lot. Kind of odd, but I hear it's because of the economy, construction prices, and the owner. There used to be a casino here, but the owner of the property, I guess, decided to hold on to it and not build. And it's probably a smart move right now, because a lot of these casinos are struggling, even though it doesn't necessarily appear that they've slowed down. But maybe their revenue expectations have changed. ABC store, my favorite. Good place to get something to drink. Park MGM. Across the street. This whole shopping area here used to be pretty run down, and they completely bulldozed it and redid it. Lululemon, a favor for my wife. She's always sort of wanted to be a full-on ambassador for them. She had a little thing going with them for a little bit, and she was getting discounts on clothes and stuff, which is kind of nice. She actually was a brand ambassador for Brooks, and she would get new shoes like every month. That was super nice. Guess we're going. Excalibur. back to where we started. Almost. A couple more casinos to go, but it should be a lot less traffic now. So love coming to Vegas, but if I'm being honest with myself and my wife, kind of Vegas out. At least right now. And we come sometimes and we don't necessarily just stay on the strip. We'll go drive around to other areas and try to find other things to do, but I am a little burnt out. I'm sort of seeing the same thing. It's done it so much that it's kind of hard to find new things to do, although they're always building or there's something new out there. If you love food, this place is great. There's always something different. I feel like food, but it's not that big a deal. For me, I enjoy the occasional steak, but you know, if I gotta pay more than $20 for a meal, I start to question it. So I kind of rarely go crazy on food. I'm just as happy with a $10 taco truck burrito or something like that to get all my macros in. Back to the Luxor. Staying at the W this trip. Used to be the Delano. You know what? I don't know if I'm even gonna go to the pool on this trip. So I'm just here with like 9 guys. I should run over to the fabulous Las Vegas sign. So I'm not too far from it, but I think I'm gonna call it at about 4. I really only wanted to do 2. That tram connects the Mandalay Bay, Luxor, and Excalibur. Definitely take that if you want to limit how much you walk over here. I will be back here in January again for the old man soccer tournament that we do. King Cup. I'm gonna head right here. Okay, my camera is gonna die. These glasses, hopefully I can get something else in here. Anyways, I'm gonna say my goodbyes now because it's probably gonna die. House of Blues sign. House of Blues restaurant's there. The bar is no longer there, the one upstairs. Well, foundation room actually. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here. Hopefully this one was a little more entertaining. I'll be back in January for the soccer tournament, and actually should be back around Thanksgiving time. Our nephew, who is in the Air Force, is moving to Las Vegas. He'll be stationed at Nellis, so that's pretty exciting. So might even come a little more often. My brother was stationed at Nellis when I was a kid. Yet another reason I came. Anyway, I'm just going to end it here. 4¼ miles. Hopefully this pieces together well and was a little more entertaining. Alright, join me for the next run, which will probably be back at home. Alright, thanks folks.